Hello! I'm making a video. Again, finally. It's not the kind of video you would probably want. That's okay. I want to talk about something quick. Trying to be quick for me. I know some people are familiar with how rambly I can get, and I do apologize. But we're going to try to stay on topic here. So, I'm making a video because I want to talk about these. I know we are all familiar with these. I know some of us are probably too familiar with these. Those of us who still have to work regularly and be in public regularly and all that stuff. Or if you live in an area where these are now required. So I wanted to make this video because I make these. Now, there's a reason I make these, and it's not the reason, you know, it wasn't initially a reason, but there's a reason other than the one that you're thinking of. So when the whole 2020 apocalypse started, I did not want to make masks. I don't like making clothing items. I understand that when you make a clothing item, the best way to make a clothing item is to have the direct measurements of a person so that things fit nicely and precisely and perfectly. I'm not good at that. I'm very, very not good at that part. All of my sewing that I do is very more artistic, less precise science. And I wanted to talk about these, more specifically so, because I feel like it's important to understand a couple things, and I have people that follow me and who, especially my Discord server is where I first noticed this, where people kind of had a misunderstanding about how these work. So, we're going to talk about masks and the different kinds of masks. And before I say anything else, I want to encourage everybody, do your own research. Like, if I was a video editor, honestly, which I'm not, I'm just an artist who sometimes makes videos that kind of are like accompaniment to my other things I do. I read my DeviantArt comments, like, so people I can talk back to people and I can engage. I don't make videos, okay? But I wanted to say something about this. I've done my own research, and some of it may be outdated because this was a month and a half ago, at least. But when I made these masks, specifically this one, it was because I had to pick up some fabric at the fabric store to do a couple of commissions, because I actually got a very fair amount of commissions when the apocalypse started. So I do want to thank everybody who's commissioned and supported my store through all this. So thank you. But when I decided that so that we wouldn't have to buy them ourselves, I would just go to the fabric store and pick up some cotton to do masks for me and my family. And I was only going to do them for me and my family. But being a person in a fabric store who loves fabric, what ends up happening normally is you buy too much of that fabric. So there was not much in the store even then. I picked up this pattern specifically because I love it. It's adorable. And one thing of elastic that was on the shelf. And I was like, okay, these are my family masks and that's all I do. But I had a lot of this fabric left over. So I was like, alright, whatever. I'll make a couple and I'll put it on Etsy and see what happens. Well, a lot happened, and this is sort of kind of in response to a couple of people who bought on my Etsy. They've all left a lot of really wonderful reviews. But I want to explain a little bit about what these are and how they're made for that, because these masks are the basic of the basic, as you can tell. They are nothing. They're basically a square sewn together with some comfortable elastic to try to make it easier for people. But I don't even sew that, and there's a reason for that, because, like, I understand thoroughly, like I said, that things, in order to fit a person, usually must be measured to their face, so that they fit properly. Now, this is actually the CDC pattern that is recommended by the CDC. This is the one that is on their website. Because I can't read a pattern. I'm not very good at doing patterns. I know there's lots of mask patterns right now, and you are free to look up those, but I stuck to the one that the CDC had because it was from the CDC. And, I do truly believe that everybody should be wearing one of these. That is something that I actually do believe, because I understand that with the cloth masks, it's not like there's several layers of types of masks that exist, right? There's the viral ones, there's basic cotton ones, and then there's like N95s and filter masks. Obviously, the N95s and the filters are the best ones, and those will actually filter a viral that might be hanging in the air. Is the same with some of the surgical disposable masks. But cotton masks don't really do that. What the cotton mask does is you put it on your face, and then you can't breathe on people, which is how the thing that we all must not mention spreads. So this doesn't really protect you so much as like you protect everybody around you from yourself, especially if you're like what they're calling silent carriers, which is apparently a very large portion of the problem, is that there's a lot of silent carriers. So that's why they're asking you to put this on. Okay, alright, but like I understand people want the freedom, and I understand. Mask or no mask, your choice. I understand. It is my personal opinion that, everybody should be wearing these. Just something that I want to say, because I do think that there's a lot of misconceptions with understanding why people are recommending this. That's just my opinion. But I have a daughter that I do not want to have problems with, and she does wear a mask every time we walk to the gas station for her treats, because that's about the only thing we can do right now. But I want to talk about why I make these the way they are, and I'm actually going to show you guys exactly what I do for my masks, because my masks I sell them for $5 each, because I don't feel right doing any more than that. And all I do is I just take what the CD says on their website. There's 2 layers of cotton fabric here. And all I do is I just hem the sides. Boop. I just hem the sides, and really that's all it is. It's a hemmed square. But I mean, it's something that's washable and will be made. I've seen people ask why I don't use spandex, or why I don't use like other types of cloth, and the problem is with a lot of other types of cloth, or like even with spandex, is it's not completely breathable. Because you want the oxygen to filter for you properly, but you want to catch your water vapor, your breath. That's what you're stopping from getting around and from spreading things. That's what you're doing. That is the effectiveness of what you're doing. So all I do is hem the sides like that. I'll do the other side. And then I just take this side when that's done, and I fold it over like that when the pin's not there and blocking my way. And then that's what you get when you do it like that. And then you just take a piece of elastic, and I'm just going to pull it out here. Oh, or out this way. No, this one's actually really tightly sewn in, because this one I think is made for my husband. I just washed it. I know I put it up against my face, but I'll wash it again. I had it out here. Anyway, it's one long piece of elastic, and you just thread it through whatever loop you make on this side, and you just sew it together. And then that's really all it is. And that's all you need. And the CDC website actually mentions that you can sew it to the insides, while you can do a line here, and you should sew the elastic to it so this doesn't like move around like that. But again, talking about measurements and masks, not everybody's face is going to fit this size, obviously. Like this fits most people that I've seen, but not all. See, this is a little tight on my husband, but it is a little bit loose it's very loose on my daughter. Of course, she's a kid, so having kid sizes is completely different. But it fits me and my best friend perfectly. It just depends on how big your face is and what's all stopping you from getting things on comfortably and whatnot. Also, this elastic is a little bit thicker than what I got now. So, but this is what was available when I went to the store. Everything else I've ordered online. There's a mix of black and white. But I just wanted to talk about how I made them and why I made them. I only do $5 each because I just think that they should be able to be readily available for whoever. Because I've seen a lot of other things that they seem very expensive for what they are, and some people need, they need a lot of these because they're wearing one every day. They need to put it in the washer every day. They need to do this. There's some people who, they can't just have one or two to switch out. They need a lot of them. So I wanted there to be just something that paid for the fabric and my 20 minutes that it took to make them. And that was it. So that's just kind of my explanation on my masks in particular. That's really all I wanted to say. I just wanted to show you guys that it's available, and that's how I make them, and that's why I make them the way I do. Doing them in the square as well. So I'm trying to make a batch of these that I can donate to a nursing home local to me that I know is having problems right now. I just found out about it like last week, and I want to donate some to them too. So the thing is with the square is it's also really, really easy to get a lot of these made out of just doing this basic square. I'm not wasting any fabric doing it this way, so I can get a lot of them out, and I can get them out inexpensively so that people can have them. If you want something nicer and more form-fitting, like that's totally understandable, but this is what this is for, and this is why I do them this way. It's just a very basic, simple pattern, and like I said, it's the one that was on the CDC website, and that's I have that listed as in the description that it is that one. They actually have a couple of really cool alternatives, like how to cut a no-sew one out of a t-shirt and things like that. This is just the very basic sewable version, and that's really what I wanted to show. I can show you guys because I have quite a few made. Quite a few. But I'll show you how I package them. Because I know people are all kinds of concerned about health and safety right now. And whatnot. So I'm just going to show you guys. Because these all go out like this. So I sew. The fabric is all kept in a plastic bin. And I have been washing my hands even before every time I sit down to sew with this whole thing. Just because I do take a lot of walks and stuff down to my convenience store and whatnot. So I wash my hands so much now. But so the fabric comes directly out of my plastic bin. It gets cut up into wherever I'm cutting it up at. Into these squares. It goes on the desk, and then it goes in a pile where they all get pinned. The pin pile gets put together, and then they all go into the machine, and then they all get their I have all my elastic now pre-cut, and then we just sew them all at once. Sometimes in large stacks, but holy crap. Then they all go in their own individual baggie. Now, some people are going to say this is probably a waste of bag space, but I realized they package really nicely like this. And then if there's like a household that needs to like mark their masks or whatever, now they have all of their masks like for their people, whoever, they can put the names on there, and they can I send them all in the bags now. I used to have somebody ordered a couple, I would put 2 in a bag because up to 2 can fit in here. But I realized that you can actually use the baggies to help like organize them if you want. So you all get an individual bag with your mask whenever you order them. They'll all come like this. So they stack like that in an envelope. I had one person order 8, and they all fit in an envelope folded over like that on top of each other. And I have a lot of designs. I try to keep a fairly decent variety. It's getting harder now that cotton fabric has become so in demand. But I do have quite a fair bit of some of these fabrics left. I have a couple that I have uplisted that are not available anymore. Like, I can't buy them. They're still there if they're on the website, if they're on my website or Etsy. If they're still in stock, we take very careful stock of what we have. But there's some of these that I just can't buy anymore. I know all 3 of the Galaxy ones I cannot find at all anymore, and the watermelon is hard to come by. And this was a brand new design, the sushi was a brand new design that I ordered once, and then I could never find it again, so I know I didn't order it. And that's sad, because this one's one of my favorites. But that is my, my explanation, I guess, of how I'm doing the masks, and why I do think it's important. It is my personal belief, like I said, that everybody should at least try to wear some sort of fabric cotton face covering, even if it is something simple and basic, because something simple, basic, and inexpensive is going to be better than nothing. And that's just how I feel, and that is why I make them the way I do, and why I'm trying to make as many as I can, and I want to donate as many as I can. I haven't been able to do any donations because people ordered them more faster than I could hardly even make them at first. But I finally have enough back made. I can probably put together a decent set group now, so I'm gonna do that very soon. But that's how they come. That's how they is. I guess thank you for listening to my little ramble. Masks. Please wear one if you can. I won't force you, but I will. I do encourage it. Thank you.